名乗れロキ。
The cold makes a king out of every mistake. The lock makes a legend out of what they cannot break. When a name gets cursed, it can harden to steel. When a heart gets cornered, it starts learning to feel. I was born with the curse, but I carved it to a crown. They built me out of silence, then was shocked I made a sound. Every chain they threw at me taught my hands another way. If the world made me the shadow, I became the night that stayed. Loki, Loki, heir to the frost and flame. Loki, Loki, they remember the name. Not the lie they wrote for me, not the mask they made me wear. I am what survives when a kingdom loses air. Born in a hall where the winners felt alive, where the walls were too tall and the prayers barely survived. A giant in a world that prefers its giants small, so they taught me how to bow before I'd learn to stand at all. There's a wound that forms when a child is made a warning, when love arrives late and leaves before the morning, when your blood becomes a rumor and your future a decree. And every room you enter says you're less than what you see. So I learned from the cold what the warm never teach, how to keep your own fire just beyond their reach, how to speak with the weight of a storm behind teeth, how to make a dead calm feel like a blade underneath. They called it a curse, but a curse can be a trap. A wind through the hinges of a house built to last. A crack in the gold that reveals what it cost. A throne that looks holy till you see what it bought. They wrote my ending like the ink was law. I learned how to breathe in the break in the wall. They meant to bury me under a name. I grew in the dark and came back unchanged. I was born with a curse, but I carved it to a crown. They built me out of silence, they were shocked I made a sound. Every chain they threw at me taught my hands another way. If the world made me the shadow, I became the night that stayed. Loki, Loki, here to the frost and flame. Loki, Loki, they remember the name. Not the lie they wrote for me, not the mask they made me wear. I am what survives when a kingdom loses air. There's an old trickster living somewhere under my skin. Not a clown in the chaos, but the truth in the grin. The kind of mischief that reveals what power hides. The kind that turns the whole courtroom into a lie. Ragnarok in the rhythm, need hog in the roots. The slow, patient hunger in the base of the fruit. The world tree shakes when the buried things breathe. When the old lies buckle in the soil, remember seeds. I know what it means to be feared but for spoken of. To be named for the damage and never the blood. To be blamed for the fracture, the fire to split. While the ones who lit the match got to stand there and sit. So I don't wear villain like a borrowed costume. I wear it like iron in a room without a moon. Like a door that was nailed shut, learning how to move. Like a fist full of thunder with nothing to prove. A kingdom can call itself sacred and decay. A chain can be polished and still keep you caged. A story can crown you and cut you in half, but the truth stays alive in the fracture it left. I was never made to be gentle on command, never built to be quiet with the crown in my hand. There's a weight to inheritance, heavier than stone, when the blood in your body has to travel alone. I am not my pain, but my pain made a shape. I am not the lock, but I learned to escape. I am not the myth, but the myth needed proof. So I stood in the center and became the truth. I am frost on the blade and the breath in the smoke. I am the joke that I lived, the punchline they wrote. I am sorrow with posture, defiance with grace. A prince with a storm where they expected a face. So call me accursed if that helps you explain why the weakest of cages can still make a chain. But remember this well, when you speak of my name, I was not made to kneel, I was made to remain. I was born with a curse, but I carved it to a crown. They built me out of silence, then were shocked I made a sound. Every chain they threw at me taught my hands another way. If the world made me the shadow, I became the night that stayed.